Dyno Tuning, Twin Turbo, Ferrari, F12, Shooting Flames, DailyDrivenExotics. These dudes have been building this car for 5 years, and now they could finally put this thing on the dyno, man. I'm crazy ready to hear this thing at 9,200 RPM. Becoming ISO speed.
We're ready. Are you ready? Dude, are you guys ready?
What do you mean? Should I start barking?
Bro, this is the day we've been all
I gotta lock in, Breeze.
For so long, right? The entire time we've been building this car, we've been waiting for this day.
Tuning day is here. Get excited. We're about to take this, the dyno, and get it above 4,000 RPM and see what it's gonna make for power for the very first time. The first startup, that was a big one.
Yes.
But really, what everybody's waiting for, including myself and Mike, is how much power is this twin turbo V12 gonna make? How far can we push it? What's it ultimately gonna sound like?
Yes.
We're all gonna find out right here today in this video. So don't go anywhere. Buckle up. It's about to get crazy, baby. You guys, that's it. I am so freaking excited, girl.
I bet you are.
You ready to go?
Yo, Damon has so many cars, bro. He has that F12, he has a Revolto, he has the SDJ, he has a Mercy. His collection is nasty. And this is, when I was talking about the build, since they had to reverse engineer everything, they got Shane, bro, one of the best tuners in the game. I forgot what. He works for Motec. So he's head honcho at Motec, bro. So they got him to reverse engineer this too in tuning because he did a boat engine on an Enzo. Well, Enzo engine on a boat, and then he did a twin turbo Enzo engine too for tuning.
Yeah, well, it's got the same I was saying from the other motor. It has a hard time starting, but I think
You
it's
saw
because the stock
Sosa's
motor has the
STO?
plenum split. So you effectively have twice the throttle.
Dude, I want to
area
build a
for the whole
Frankenstein
engine 'cause they
with
can
the.
both breathe through that throttle. So yeah, I probably need some.
Bro, that's the best way to go. If you're gonna do some crazy build, salvage because they're gonna strip everything anywhere.
Sounds like a freaking motorcycle.
Yo, that thing just chugs fuel. Oh my
With
god.
the 4-plate tilt and clutch and that snappy
Yeah,
throttle.
you got a switch clutch and a throttle that's a switch also.
Exactly.
Perfect. Maybe we can find a tuner that can fix it.
992 turbo for 10K with rear end damage, but engine okay.
Dude, the
Yo,
first time we drove this
The
car,
amount of
Mike
cars
and I
you
were
can find nowadays
wow,
is
holy
insane.
It's like a
Give it like
motorcycle.
5 years, I'm telling
Sounds
you,
like a
bro.
Hayabusa.
All you'll just see is the new kids with
Also, but
old
the fact that
Porsches
the
and
blade,
old
I'm sure it's fast
M5s,
because the other thing
old
was the last one we
C63s.
did
It's gonna
was
be
a
nasty.
boat engine
Yeah.
against an engine dyno holding the load back.
Yeah.
So it didn't
Not
seem
free.
nearly as touchy.
Need to go for real. Solid.
I don't know.
If I had to get a boat for a Beamer, I might go 7 Series. I ain't gonna lie.
And the gentleman setting up the dyno right now.
This is a mainline dyno, but it's not like a dyno jet where you have a roller that's usually in the ground,
Right.
Where you have that tire touching the roller. Inertia wheel, right? So you can spin tires on those really easy. They're easy to strap a car down to and make some passes and see how much power you're making. But this thing's gonna make a lot of power, and we need something that is going to be able to read that accurately. We can also set this to whatever RPM we want, and it'll hold it. It will not let the engine go past, say, 6,000 RPM. You can hold it there exactly at that RPM and tune everything. So you
Once
can
it
move the
drops
throttle
enough?
around.
The dyno does
The
that.
dyno will actually
dyno does.
hold
So
it.
you can set the dyno
Hey,
to
fuck it. I told you I was I was gonna buy y'all what, M4? Would y'all take a Cayman? I ain't gonna lie, I think Caymans will go hard, and they cheaper,
either control
Get everybody
the
some
axle speed
Caymans.
flat, like no acceleration rate, so that'd be a steady state test, or you can do a sweep test from a specific RPM to another one and set the rate that it changes from the low RPM to the high RPM.
So
So you could
5
match
seconds,
5th
20
gear,
seconds.
6th gear, you could make it like a Bonneville dyno pull where it's 20, 30 seconds, whatever. So the advantage of this kind of dyno over what Mike was mentioning, the inertia dyno, is the inertia dyno, you're still dealing with the contact patch of the tire. tire against the roller on the dyno.
F82 is cheaper though?
Just like it can on the street.
Oh, when I talk about I was gonna buy y'all M4, I'm talking about like new.
Has enough
Like
horsepower
2025,
to spin the tire on the
2026.
roller, and then it makes it difficult to tune it and or measure the power, because when it spins the tire, you lose the power.
Man,
input to the
y'all not
inertial
seeing
wheel.
it.
So this dyno,
Fuck it. I'm gonna.
because it's bolted to the
I gotta build a
hubs,
Cayman for y'all.
there's
That's
no
all I gotta do.
slip other than whatever the weak link is in the car.
So what's the first steps for getting this thing tuned? Like what do you do? Because
New
it's currently
Caymans?
in like just a turn on tune.
The first thing we
We
need
gonna
to do
check
is
out what the
synchronize
Porsche
the
market looking like
engine
after this.
RPM to the dyno, so that the dyno knows what the engine RPM is, because it's measuring the axle speed. So in order to do that, we'll put it in a specific gear. In this case, we'll use fifth, because fifth is 1-to-1. And then we'll calibrate the engine RPM at 3,000 to what the dyno reads on the axle, so it then knows by multiplying axle speed times the gear ratios what the engine RPM is.
Shane's
God
good at
damn.
math.
You were told there would be no math?
Holy
No, that's the great part of it.
All I gotta do is hold the camera, Shane. You do your thing with Mike.
The software in the dyno is great. I don't even have to do the math. All I have
Okay.
to do is tell him, go to 3,000, and then I hit a button, and it calculates the difference between the engine speed and the axle.
Okay.
And determines what the gear ratio must be based on the difference. We sync up the dyno with the engine.
I'm following you, man. I'm following
Right.
you.
And then we can set the start point and the end point of the dyno.
You know what's crazy about that? Like all the software he's talking about basically has to like calculates everything for him. Before, without that software, you had to do everything manually, which is why like tuning was scarier before. Gintani was talking about that too in one of the interviews he did. But yeah, I've seen someone on TikTok tune their car using AI. I think AI might take over tuner soon too. Better than G82 in some ways since 2013. Real. It's fire. Yeah, some dude put like his Ford specs or whatever on his Mustang on AI, and then it just gave him the base map for it, and it worked.
pole and have an idea of what RPM is going to be, you know, at the start point and the end point, so we don't just send it to the moon. So the first thing we'll do is run it the lightest possible load we can run it.
Throw that word in there, Shane.
No, it's yet. It's definitely going to the moon.
Send
just
it to
not
the
now.
moon yet.
We just don't do it on the first pull.
No.
You know why?
I'm gonna go with problems and money.
Yeah, it's money. So you won't pay me a full amount if I only spend one dyno pole getting it tuned, right? But if I take all day long,
How long have you been doing this?
it's 2001, so 23 years.
It's impressive. It's really cool. I'm always wanting to give the audience some information on the person's
Nigga trying to get
background
that
that is
bread.
working with us, because they don't know you, so it's fun to get to know you.
Sure, my background simply and quickly is that I worked on regular street cars before I went to work at Motec USA. Motec USA, the distributor for Motec out of Australia in North America. I worked there for 5 years. At some point I had someone offer me a position I couldn't refuse, which was to come and be a crew chief on a sport compact front wheel drive car. And they would pay me to be a consultant so I could work on all of the other kinds of cars that I'd been working on at Motec.
That's a good deal.
Took the opportunity and I never looked back.
Very cool.
So I've been able to stay unemployed since 2006.
Hey, we're both unemployable. I like this guy. I mean, there's so much going on here that when I look at this, I'm like, how in the world do you manage it from a computer? It's like...
You have control of every single bit.
Smoking the
Cam
God is a
control,
gem,
right?
bro.
How much fuel goes in and when the fuel goes in, when it sparks, and how strong the spark is by dwell time. So you have all of these things that at least he has a really good idea of by doing another Ferrari engine before, but this one is turbocharged, the other ones were not.
Shane is having his lunch and doing a few things. Let's talk about today's sponsor, Dave.
No, brother, no. Yeah, no, we're gonna skip that, bro.
We'll be using these later today.
Front.
Right.
But we've moved the radiator to the rear of the car and we have two massive fans on there. And the reason that we did that, one is for weight distribution, two is for the fact that we can't put that big of a radiator in the front of the car, and three, when you're drifting and when you're sliding sideways, you don't have that airflow coming from the front, right? It's from the side.
Yeah.
So you don't have efficiency in the front anyway. So now we have it in the rear and the intercooler in the front by itself with the oil cooler behind it. If we ran this fan the whole time, the intercooler would be ice cold, awesome. But the oil temp would be really low, and we want the oil temp to be at least 180 degrees. It doesn't really work well when the oil is cold. So for engine protection,
Gotcha.
we want it to be high. So we
And
probably...
there's fans on this too, right?
Yeah, so we've got two fans on there.
Yo, the fans that he has on that,
ECU as well.
So really,
they're
you don't
so
need this at
powerful
all.
that if you just
Ideally,
set them
no.
on the floor and
So
turn them on, like
everything is good.
they'll
We
fly.
can cool the car by itself
Like, just by
without having
themselves.
airflow, and that's the idea when you're building a drift car like this, is that you're not going to get airflow. So it better cool itself down without having massive fans.
This is Mike's biggest fan, though, you know that.
That's good. I like Shane.
able to map the throttle position compared to the pedal because it's drive-by-wire. So we can effectively slow down the throttle compared to his foot. That makes it less touchy and gives it more feel. Makes it a little easier to drive when you're trying to move it around in parking lots.
So instead of a ramp like this, kind of taper it up.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Before it was just a straight line, right? 0 and 100, it goes straight across. And now we're slowing it down at the lower throttles and catch back up at the top.
Drivability. Now we're just going to match up the engine RPM to the speed at the wheel. So we'll put it at 3,000 RPM and hold it there, and he'll measure basically what the speed of the dyno is turning. We'll put that into the dyno so it knows the engine RPM to basically what it goes through the transmission, through the diff, and what is coming out at the axle. So that way, no matter what we're in, when we're in 5th gear, we'll know the RPM.
What he said.
What he said.
What he said.
In 5th gear.
Bro, I'm like Damon on this, bro. Sometimes like they talk and you can only keep up for so much. Like the amount of knowledge that these dudes have on cars is insane. That's like years of fucking work. Yeah, and it has more in the back.
So right now the dyno is actually holding us at 2,000 RPM or under. So I was giving it more and more throttle, but it was holding it there. So we're gonna try to get that at 3,000 RPM so we can sync it up.
So the way this works when we go to make a pull, which we'll try now just to simulate it,
Yep.
just like what that was doing. You'll drive into it, it'll grab it, you can go full throttle, it won't let it go higher until I let it go.
Yep.
But I want to see where that start point is to begin with. It's $2,000, that's probably okay. We'll just go 2 to maybe 4. You can stop early anytime you want. Don't hit the brakes. I'll stop the dyno.
This is always like a bit of a nerve-wracking
Bro,
time. You're
I'm
starting
nervous
everything,
for
there's
them,
all these
bro.
new noises
They
you
spent
don't
like
hear, and you
hundreds
have
of
this, like,
thousands of
it's
dollars on
loaded
this
on dyno, so
build,
you're
and
hearing
it could
everything kinda,
blow
like,
up.
vibrate and rattle around. And obviously, this thing is not cheap at all.
He got a
So
new
much time
Porsche?
and
What
money
the
went into
fuck?
this. I'm hoping everything goes perfectly, and we're about to find out.
We low key gotta watch 981 too. Like, he's been dropping so much. Anything happened? I seen on his story he posted like a lot of fucking cop cars on the road. I don't know if he posted anything about that on his YouTube,
If he's
but
hoping,
I don't
I'm
know. We'll
hoping
see.
too.
Go to 4 and let off, right? You just go to 4 and stop.
A new one though. He got it pretty recently. Solid. We gotta have a fucking 981 garage tour. He has what? The 458, new Porsche. Does he still have the GT? He might still have that GT.
Okay. Wow. Pretty impressive, huh?
Cut it. Mike, 115 horsepower.
Nice. In 5th gear at, what, about 3% throttle?
Posting this
But
West
that's
Road
all
right
in a day.
now.
Let's go.
To the wheels, baby. To the wheels.
To the wheels.
We're done here, guys.
To the wheels. So what are you watching on here, Shane?
Oh, so we've got all the parameters from the engine control unit, like
Damn.
fuel pressure, coolant temp, engine speed, throttle position, air temperature, some additional channels about the crank and cam sensors, fuel that's going to the engine, the pulse width delivered to the injector. What I'm going to watch mainly while we're doing this is the air-fuel ratio, which is recorded down here. So we have an AIM air-fuel ratio here in orange, and then we have the actual air-fuel ratio from the left and the right side of the motor in yellow and in red. And then we have an additional yellow that's an average of the two. But what we're looking for is a big lean deviation. Rich isn't really a problem now, but lean is.
Yeah.
So I'll wave him off if it gets leaner than the AIM.
Gotcha. And what's this thing do?
Bro, those tables are
This
death.
is a 3D
I used to go on fucking engine
This
simulator
chart,
and blow
which
everything up.
is manifold pressure up and down on the left side and
This
engine
is not
RPM
easy,
from
bro.
left to right. That's the fuel map. How good it is at pumping air for any given RPM and manifold pressure. So do the same thing again, I'll let it sweep this time.
That sounded a lot like a rev limiter to me. It did. It wasn't like a fuel rich thing. It was like
it's mad about something. It's doing ignition cut, so now we should.
Yeah, so when we were revving it after you came, it still seemed like the rev limiter was at 4,500, and it did sound a lot.
It sounded like any lag.
What RPM was that?
4,500.
It's 41,
That was just 4,500
42.
RPM?
Yeah.
Sounds mean, huh?
Yeah.
Man, without a windshield
We're not losing
and the
the crank, so
exhaust
that's a
blowing
good thing.
back in the car,
Well,
It's a good thing it's not the leaded fuel anymore. Thank goodness it's the Ignite.
Anti-lag.
It's anti-lag that's cutting, so it's
Oh
either it's
my
on
God.
or we've got the
Call me a professional. I'm that nigga. I'm that nigga. Let me tune your whip, bruh. I called it. I called it. I called it. I already know what these niggas talking about before they talk about it. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. See what a wild guess does,
backwards on the
nigga?
switch.
Sign me,
4500, and then it
Motec.
just sort of
Sign
anyway.
me.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, you know, I was
God.
going to ask you about the anti-lag too.
Breeze, let me
while
to
this
your
is
car,
up.
bro.
Okay, so here's a really important
To
thing.
your car.
The anti-lag has to shoot big
No
flames.
insurance.
So
And whatever you think is
Non-efficient,
big, time that by 10.
regarding the anti-lag, there's an inherent
Actually,
problem with
fucking
the
Mark,
valve
let me
train
tune that
depending
Lexus,
on
cuz.
how
I got you
they've
free of
made the
charge.
bucket fit over the valve. So if the bucket is ground so that the lash is built into the bucket clearance and there's nothing in between the bucket and the end of the valve
There's nothing
to
in
fall
between the
out.
bucket. It's a hydraulic lifter.
Yep,
With
no shims.
With no shims. So on my BMW motors, we would spit shims all
Right,
the time, and
right.
we did not run anti-lag for that exact
Yep.
reason.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't have that problem because although it's fun to have talk about anti-lag, it's not that fun after you pick all the pieces up out of the rocker
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
So we can do the dumb anti-lag with this setup.
We can.
Like really dumb. No
Affirmative.
efficiency. Just dumb.
Dump all the fuel.
Dump all the fuel. Flames spitting everywhere like a torch.
They'll like the file name, the horsepower numbers.
Bro, I just want to see like 20 pounds of boost on that shit. They still haven't put anything on it.
Through it. It's a lot easier to find the file you want.
well, that sounded gnarly. That's 7? Holy shit.
No load, 7,000 RPM.
Let's go.
Open throttle. Yeah, baby.
No spoiler in the future, but I think I'm putting under warranty. Yeah, I wouldn't. This shit's new. But I wouldn't. That's crazy.
64 to the wheels.
Look, it's almost 1-to-1.
And that thing has no boost.
Hey, it's almost 1-to-1, he said.
Not bad.
Right, Jesse. Talk to me.
So what, Jesse? Uncle Jesse. Right, so we made just about 6 pounds of boost.
Yep.
We ran into the rev limiter up top at 7,000. And yes, the cam control map that I have in here is from those 2 normally aspirated engines I did on dyno with. Obviously, we're different intake manifolds, different headers, and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
exactly. Yeah.
So we need to optimize it for this with a turbo. You know, when you have a turbo, because you have boost, and especially because you have back pressure, which can be higher than the boost, the same cam map that works good normally aspirated when the intake pressure and the exhaust pressure are equal,
Yep.
might not work really good if the exhaust pressure is over the intake.
All right, so we're talking about the red line, where we want the red line to be.
I mean, well, Dave wants it at 10,000. I want to see it at 9, and then we want to see what it's doing. Because if we do have a lot of back pressure and we do kind of fall off a cliff there, then there's no reason to run it past that. There's no reason to run it to that. I do want to hear that 9,000 RPM.
Yeah, and Shane was saying you let what determine this? The dyno?
The dyno and the engine will tell you what it
9,000 is
wants if you
scary,
listen.
bro.
So when we run it on the dyno, if we run a constant boost all the way up, you're going to see the horsepower curve from here. It'll go up in RPM, and then it'll peak, and then it'll start to drop back down. As soon as you reach that peak, or possibly a little bit past, as long as you aren't in danger as far as the RPM and the engine components go, right? So if it peaks at 8,500 and you can safely run it to 9 without flinging parts out on the ground, you might consider running at 86, 8,700 because that gives you an advantage when you go in the next gear. It's a little bit higher, closer to the power peak, and it gives you a better chance to accelerate the car.
I understand it's a V12, but still, like 9,000, just drop it on there with everything they've done on the first dyno run is crazy.
You can take more RPM, which is not a shock, right? We're 7,500, we stopped early, but if we see that when we get to 9,000, now you're caught in a quandary because you don't know if your components in the engine can handle that extra RPM, even though the engine's trying to make power there. You know, if the parts inside are going to
It's not new, but it's Toyota, so
the engines
Yeah,
more
and
than
it's
anything
the
else.
RPM and all the load, right? Because we're going to be running a bunch of boost into it at the same
Well, I
time.
mean,
so it's not just the RPM.
Toyota
like
is
an NA
not
motor.
bad. It's
You
not like
also
you're
have
gonna
the
be
boost that's tied in
It's
there.
also
Slinging
not
parts
gonna be
out like a
getting
Range
treated nicely,
Rover.
right? Because you're going to be in and out of the throttle, so you need to like
Yeah.
This is true. I don't treat nicely.
stay
gonna be
well
abused.
away from all the guardrails.
And you go for how much?
8,500 revolutions per minute.
Let's do it.
Bro, this is crazy. Bro, that's just gonna sound stupid, bro.
Like, so I get the oil temp back up, and then we're gonna see what this thing will do at 8,500 RPM. Highest we've hit so far is 7,500. Another 1,000.
And that's with no boost. Oh my god, bro.
Crazy. That's crazy. Woo! She screams. Hey? Bro.
Dude, inside the car here, feeling the engine and just that rumble, that V12 turbo scream is absolutely insane. It is. Dude.
Brought the sound back.
What a monster. Dude, it sounds so good too.
Doesn't have that chuggy anymore.
Yeah, I want to look at the dyno curve and just see if we're still making power up there.
I'm not gonna lie, that gave me a pop 10.
I don't have wheels on the warranty. I'm gonna get
Oh, it's
F-Sport
going
wheels.
Up and up. 855 to the wheel.
What we're not doing, we're not
Our
turning the boost
F-Sport
up.
wheels-
This is just how much the engine will make at that constant boost. Yeah. Right, so we're at about 6 pounds of boost.
What are they?
So we're at less boost than
You know how
before.
much boost
I feel like
they wanna put in it?
are they light?
24, 25.
I don't know.
It's at 6. They're gonna put it to 25 pounds of boost.
What we're gonna do is try and make 1,600 horsepower. If it happens,
yeah.
That's what wheels look better. Look them
That's
up.
I was going based on your calculation.
Right, we're running the same boost we were running at 7,000, made 750 or whatever horsepower. Add another 1,000 revs. It's literally it's like RPM divided by 10 is horsepower on this thing. It's
I
great.
saw him with his calculator out. I've just been over his shoulder the whole time.
Calculations on my own, that's what I came up with for horsepower.
They called NASA.
Oh, they
That's what
actually do look
called
nice
them.
as fuck. What the
You
hell?
don't call NASA anymore. Now you call SpaceX,
Direct line to Elon.
right? Where do you want to go with the car? In Mars.
Not to the moon. To Mars. I want to hear to 9,000. That was 85. It already sounded insane.
That's crazy.
Dude, another
That's
500.
fucking crazy.
Dude,
Holy
this thing is a monster.
9,000 RPM. Headphone users beware. I probably should have said that earlier.
Yeah, I might have to cut this vlog like crazy, son. This shit about to be a 40-minute video or recording. Bro, that thing sounds insane. Nah, that POV was stupid. Behind the, oh my god, behind the wheel sounds crazy. That sounded fucking dumb.
Oh my god. Dude.
That sounded dumb.
Closest thing I know to an actual F1
Oh
car.
man, that was insane. Like,
Bro, I
that
feel
sound
happy
difference
for
just with that
them.
extra
Oh my
500
god.
RPM.
I feel like that's my shit. Shit. I've been seeing this car fucking on
Bro, that's have you ever
lifts
heard anything
and
like that?
jack stands and all types of shit. Now it's finally running.
Yeah.
We never treated the Enzo that way at all.
Yeah, holy sh**. Dude.
That scream is
And we're only
crazy.
at
Yeah,
wastegate
nah, that
screen
shit's
boost of like
ridiculous.
6 or 7 pounds right
20
now.
inch for 3IS. I've seen like a bunch of different ones, but they look
It's
pretty
headed uphill
clean.
again when it runs into the limiter.
Yeah. So basically the taper right now is the limiter.
Yeah, that angle, that little tail at the end that heads downhill big time,
Bro,
that's the
what?
rev limiter coming on.
It's still going up.
I don't even think they added
9,000
boost
just
yet.
as efficient, or even slightly.
So they're at 867 and their goal is to hit 1500 to the wheel.
more efficient.
We potentially
So,
don't have the hardware.
I don't know how
to
the fuck
achieve
this shit's gonna
RPM
sound.
That this thing's capable of going and making power. We've run a couple of ignition timing loops. Look which direction the power goes to get a concept of what it wants
Yeah,
for
does it
ignition
want
advance.
more timing? Does it want less
What
timing in it?
less timing,
And
right.
what RPM does it want that?
Bro, if you saw the dyno curve in the back, I was just looking at the computer, it just kept going. That thing is fucking monstrous, bro. LFA though? LFA is tough. God. Can you imagine this shit? Can you imagine this shit like in real life? I've never heard of V12 like not V12 V12 scream like that in real life. Like I can only imagine. LFA though, but I was gonna say about the LFA. Some dude put a straight pipe on it and it sounded horrible. Apparently the LFA sounds so good because they took years developing that exhaust within the factory, like in-house. Terrifying to drive probably. It's terrifying to be on the fucking dyno. That shit's monstrous. Yeah, bro. But LFA is a nasty sounding car. It's just like, it kind of sucks because it's not as loud as some of these other cars. But like the sound is up there.
The vibration.
Oh man, you just feel everything.
It's terrifying.
It's so smooth, but everything vibrates. It's like, it's
And this car is
weird
meant to go at
sensation.
like 120, 110
Yeah, that's
sideways.
And that's
Probably
like,
more,
886
but
horsepower.
I don't know.
Yeah, that is low boost, the lowest setting we can possibly get with these wastegates.
So a higher boost of the audio change and
The
all this?
lowest
It will
setting,
change.
brother.
Yeah.
What the fuck are they making, a
You're
rocket?
moving more air through it, so yeah, it'll change. I can't wait to hear that. We get another, like, we get up to
Brother.
15, 20 pounds.
This
of
makes
boost.
my car feel like shit.
Can't wait to hear
What
that
am I
sounds
driving now? These niggas making rockets. I'm over here fucking. They putting fucking moons on my
Test to
shit.
make sure we're all good. Then we crank and boost. In your words.
Yes.
In your words.
We're good to go.
Yo, Damon was right. That thing sounds like
Now we're
a
gonna
bike.
build our boost duty cycle map, right? So what we do is we put a fixed duty cycle on the control valve for the wastegate. That's gonna put some amount of extra boost in it. We don't know what it's gonna be yet, so we're gonna start small.
How was that? Was that boost?
No, I mean, if we got almost nothing, and we're in that dead zone on the solenoid where it almost doesn't do anything.
Crank it up, bro.
Crank it up. Now the car looks pretty solid too. Like you didn't even see anything moving an inch. All them like solid mounts are doing their work.
Oh, we made a little bit more power, some boost. Just a touch.
Bro,
How much boost
they
is
just keep
that?
eating
That's
the
like not even
fucking
11 pounds right
dyno
now.
away.
What?
Yeah. 10.
Hold on. What? I couldn't hear you.
We are not even at 1 bar of boost yet. So we're less than 11 pounds of boost. Now the turbos are starting to work. They're really becoming efficient here, and they get more efficient as we go up.
And the noise changed.
Yeah, because we're moving more air. It's sucking more air in. It's running more air through the engine and more out of the exhaust. So
Shane said hold his beer.
This car is like, bro, this shit's like a six. They shot for 15, but this shit might easily make 16,700 horsepower or 1,700. That's insane. What the fuck?
All right, time to turn up the boost some more. Suck it back, you sponge.
this thing is thirsty.
Oh yeah.
Woo, she's drinking this.
They're using ignite
And
fuel
on those
too.
runs, we're hitting what, 9,200 RPM?
Yeah, we got 9,200 RPM.
Yeah, you can't edit it so much time.
They're making almost 1,250
Yeah,
horsepower.
for
in the
sure.
wheels.
The exhaust
Right now, we have
sounds
a
like that
wastegate
because they have
control
a pipe
issue.
connected
Basically,
to
the
the big
wastegates are so
pipe.
efficient that
The edges
we're
have to
putting a
be
lot of pressure on
smooth. If
top
they're
to hold
rough, they
them
make
closed,
American
but
sounding
they're still wanting
engine.
to open up. So that's a good problem.
I don't know that
We can
process,
obviously
but
change some stuff
yeah.
around and get all the boost that we want. Right now, we're going to move the cams around. and
Yeah,
see what
nah,
kind of
they
gains we
barely
can
put
get
boost
just
into
by
this shit,
moving
bro.
the cams. Big ponies, baby, big ponies.
1,300, you think?
We're not adding any more boost, but depending on how far off we are on the cam timing, we should pick up some power. We might pick up 20, 30, maybe more horsepower. But yeah, we're gonna find out how efficient we are with the current settings.
Sure, idle smooth.
It does. Solid mounts too.
Dog.
Lost about 100 horsepower.
Yo, I'm telling you, that position behind the fucking wheel is insane. Like the mics are just screaming for help, bro.
Okay,
You just
so
hear the
a
distortion in
10-degree
the fucking
move
headphones.
On twisting the exhaust exhaust
Yo,
cam lost
like,
us 100
the only way you can
horsepower,
experience these
close to it.
videos
So
if you turn your
we'll
headphones
move it in
all the
other
way up.
direction
I'm about to turn my shit
and see
up.
if we pick
I don't
up
care if it's
50
with the mic.
horsepower. But that's what's so cool about having the cam control is that just by like optimizing where the cam is, you can pick up so much power. You can make it build boost faster. You can make it so much more snappier and drivable. Pretty impressive.
Hold on, bro. I gotta get in the fucking habit of getting my activity feed up. Appreciate you, Dan, for the follow. Type shit. I forgot I didn't sub LMAO. No subs, bro. I gotta get I think it's what, affiliate or partner, one of them, and then I can start getting subs. But I think it's like 75 followers, so we're like almost halfway there. But heavenly, bro. Heavenly. Bro, 1278?
And we were gonna go to 25, but the issue is that the way we're trying to control, I was like, that's
12 pounds of boost?
So the way we're trying to control the wastegate is we're always putting boost in the bottom of the wastegate, which is trying to open it up. And we're trying to fight that by putting pressure on the top to keep it closed. But the wastegate spring is kind of soft, and where we built the wastegates in is really efficient. So we have the exhaust basically blasting on the wastegate valve, trying to push it open, and the boost coming in the bottom. Amount we're pushing on the top isn't enough to make more boost. So we're running out of control of how much we can shove it close.
Well done shot.
We
Well,
could.
he has a solution.
We
The way that's
could.
set up right now, the truth
Bro,
is
Dave's trying to fucking
he's
kill the
saving away.
engine, bro.
And the reason
Well,
for
this
it,
shot.
So we have boost coming straight out of the manifold, going to the bottom of the wastegate. You reset it. Okay. The boost always is going in the bottom. It's always trying to open the wastegates at 6 pounds. That's a safe way. If the wastegate controller fails, any electronics,
So
anything
interesting.
fails,
Salute
it goes to that
Dan.
boost. It
W
doesn't go
Dan
over.
type shit.
If we do it the other way, we're controlling what's going in to open it. And if it fails, then nothing is going in.
Show us you with your hands.
Going in.
No, the other way you
to
just did it
open
before
it.
that.
What did I do? This?
The audience saw it.
Dave's a hand guy. Like,
Also, I figured out what was wrong with the boost control and why it didn't go down like we asked.
Yeah.
Pilot error behind the keyboard.
Pilot deviation. I'm gonna give you a number to call.
Yeah. So now we'll try it again with it actually hooked to the reset.
Okay.
Edit that. Can you?
Nope.
Can
My
edit that.
eyes
the
are
live
so
stream,
fucking
bro.
dry, bro. Holy shit.
This is live TV, guys.
TV. All right, Mike. You're smiling. That's not a good thing.
Now we're ready for some theatrics. We're gonna turn the anti-lag on and see if we can't shoot some massive flames out of this thing.
this is called the thumbnail moment.
Brother, hell no. I'm putting my headphones to the max. Fuck no. How did I not listen to that fucking... I'm putting that shit at 100. If you're not listening to that shit at 100, I don't know what you're fucking doing. Holy fuck. I don't care if I have to edit this like crazy. That was insane. I've never heard no anti-lag like that. What the fuck?
This is called the thumbnail moment.
What the fuck? You could pull up in a lot of things, but if you pull up to a meet in that shit, you're him. You're him Jones. Like,
Moment.
Real flame. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Like I said, flames up and
Yeah, that was sick.
crap. Saw it coming at the bottom. Dude,
I even had to turn up the desktop audio for this shit. Bro, that's insane.
the car too. That was wild.
Do it
Whoa. Oh, no. I'm gonna turn it up. Bro, nah. All right, now that the video's done, I'll talk about it. But like, we gotta go back and listen to that like 50 more times. But that was insanity.